Hey, what's going on, my nerds and collectors alike? Today we're coming at you with something a little bit different than my usual reviews on this channel. Checking my subscriber count recently, I just hit 30 subscribers. Actually, as I film this, I'm a little bit over. I'm around 33, 32 subscribers last time I checked. So I just wanted to do a small video, I suppose, and just, thank you guys for being here. I'm a fairly small channel, and it's kind of awesome to think that at least 30 of you saw my videos and thought it was worth subscribing to see some more content. So today, we are actually looking at just some custom stuff that I picked up recently from, you guys might know him, OT Customs on Instagram. So there's his card and some of his links. And I will also link his Instagram profile down in the description below. But this guy makes some really awesome Star Wars customs and custom items, so cloaks and capes, and now he's coming into the 1/12 accessory scene, and he's got some upgrade parts and stuff, so I ordered some things here, and I just wanted to share them with you while we mess around today. So, things I have ordered today, I have one of his new Beskar spears from The Mandalorian Season 2. I have a Empire Strikes Back full cloth Darth Vader Upgrade kit. So this will include the cape and the tunic, which he's done with a heavier cloth, so that way they'll drape better and hopefully look a little bit better on the figure. I have a cape upgrade for the deluxe Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi. And as you can see, he's already got some wear and tear and added some holes and stuff in there, so that way it looks a little bit better. I have a Moff Gideon upgraded cape. So this is the dual layered cloth here. So he's got a layer of black and a layer of red. He's even added the red stitching to go around there. And last but not least, he has started making prints. This is a scan of the Hot Toys head that he actually shrunk down to 1/12 scale and painted to match the Hasbro color for Mandalorian. So here is my personal Mando, and as you can see, I actually have a cloth cape with a wire running through it that I also purchased from OT Customs a while back. I actually glued mine here, but you don't have to. One of the features is that there's actually a wired hook in here that you can use to move around, but I just wanted to glue mine in place because that's where I like it and where I think it looks good. So I'm going to mess around here. We'll go ahead and get some of these guys open. Take a look at this new head here. Now, as I said, these are 3D printed. So this head is a 3D print, and this spear is a 3D print. So if you do plan to order some, I would definitely take a little bit of caution. And I will go ahead and warn you guys that he is very busy now. He is one of the only people making this much like Mandalorian Season 2 content and capes and things like this to this degree. So he is a very busy guy, and things tend to get lost in the DMs, or if he's working and something slips through, it might take a little bit to get. I did have an issue where it took me a couple months to actually receive this order. I pre-ordered this helmet back in March, and there was an issue where it slipped through, and I ended up just getting it today in May, about middle of May. But the quality still seems good. He's busy, so he won't get to your DMs right away, but when he does get to them, he's very friendly. We tried working it out, and it's here. Looks pretty good. Looks like there might be a little tiny bit of imperfection right there, but, it's forgivable. This helmet looks fantastic, because as I said, it is a scan of the Hot Toys helmet, just shrunken down to be 1/12 scale. Hopefully that won't be too hard to push on there, because I don't want to ruin this paint, because this is awesome how he was able to match that with the plastic color. So that's very cool. We'll take a look at the spear here. Yeah, and he's already sanded these down, so these are 3D prints, but they feel nice and smooth. You can actually see that it's 3D print underneath there. So that's what it kind of looks like underneath. Looks like he printed it in a flesh tone and then sprayed it with a airbrush, which always gives you nice clean paint. Looks like the same thing might have happened here, where it was airbrushed. So that's looking pretty cool. You got your spearhead there, and the individual little divots along the shaft. There's a couple down there, one there. And we'll go ahead and see how well Mando holds this, because he posts tons of pictures on his Instagram all the time, showing off new products and old products and how they look. And yeah, Mando holds that fairly well. It's a little bit wobbly, but he's got a tight enough grip on it, so that looks pretty cool. We'll see if he can hold it with the other hand, or if the other hand is better just for supporting. This hand's a little looser, so if you wanted her to do kind of a loose grip look, kind of like he's holding it behind him or something, that'll work too. What I'll probably end up doing is have this hand be the main grip hand, and then just have the left hand support it. Let's see if we can't get something with that here. There you go. So we've got Mando holding the Beskar spear, ready to go beat up Moff Gideon and get his son back. Go ahead and move him out of the way. We'll take a look at the cape for Moff Gideon. And it's very nice that he's got these little bags that he sends him in. Looks very professional. Keeps everything nice and safe in the package. These were all wrapped in bubble wrap and in a cardboard mailer. So there's how that looks. And this is actually a little string that you tie around Gideon's arms, and then it tucks behind him, so that way the cape looks like it's still sitting on his collar piece. So that's very cool. You've got the seams along there, very clean. And of course you've got the red stitching along the top, because Moff Gideon's got that little red stripe. So that looks very nice. Feels pretty good. We'll take a look at Boba Fett's little cape here. And this is to replace the shoulder cape for Boba. So, looking here and taking the jetpack off. This is just to replace this little plastic hanging cape, so it looks like all you'll do is you'll just take an X-Acto knife or something, slice that off, and just glue this one on in place, about right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So you can have that draping down, do what you need to there, and it'll just replace that. But like I said, this has some holes put into it, and it's kind of torn up at the end, so that way it looks like, you know, Boba's been wearing it for a long time. Seen some rough stuff. It's been through some bounties. And the last thing we have to look at today is the Darth Vader Upgrade kit. And as I said, this is the tunic and the cape. So this looks like the tunic piece. Not sure how that fits. We will look at it in a moment. And here is the cape. And it just has a little head hole and looks like it'll drape pretty nice. So we'll go ahead and get these custom pieces on there and take a closer look. Alright, so getting back into it here. Starting with the Moff Gideon cape. Looks pretty good. Has some nice stitching and stuff on here. This is the one that gave me the most trouble, so I will go over the pros first. Obviously, you now have a cloth cape with a wire running through it. Back looks a little crinkled up, but from the front definitely looks a lot better. It is two-tone, so you've got the red on the inside, black on the outside, you've got your stitch down there, so that way, you know, Moff Gideon's got his nice red line that goes through. Now, it could just be me, which it very well could be. I have some thick fingers, and I'm not the best at working with tiny, tiny things. But the cape actually is supposed to come with a couple of threads. So look in here, you've got one knot there, and one knot there. So these are actually tied behind the wire on the cape. So I just didn't want to cut it at the knot. But you're supposed to have 2 threads on each side that will wrap around the armpits. You tie it up underneath here, and then you tie it around the back. That, for me, just wasn't working. The thread kept fraying, and I was just having a really hard time getting it to stay and keeping it a tight enough knot. So, if you're like me and you know that you're just going to have this be a permanent modification anyway, honestly, I just snipped the thread and put a little dab of super glue right on the back of the neck, press that on there, and there you go. A little bit of Loctite goes a long way. Now you've got a cape for your Moff Gideon. So it's a very nice cape. Definitely tailored very, very well. And now Moff Gideon can have some more dynamic posing when, you know, he's being dramatic and trying to tell Mando that, you know, your fire team is super impressive, but I'm the Empire and, you know, we're super superior and all that good stuff. Or telling him that Grogu belongs to him because he wants to make clones for Palpatine or all the other fun things. But he's looking pretty good now, nice and stylish. So, if you don't want a permanent modification, you can go ahead and always give the thread a good try. It was a smart design. It's basically designed so that way you don't have to have a permanent modification and it's not easily seen. So, it was a very smart design. And if I executed it correctly, it probably would have worked better, but it was most likely a me issue, and personally, I just wanted to glue it anyway. So there's that one. Moving on from the hardest cape to the easiest cape, we have Boba Fett, who's looking pretty good now. His cape was just this little plastic piece right here, and as you can see, you just take an X-Acto knife, slice it, oop, dropped it, my bad. You just slice it from the shoulder, if it'll focus. There you go. You just slice it from the shoulder, nice and thin. Take your dab of glue, put the glue on there, and now you have a cloth cape for Boba Fett. And as you can see, drapes just fine. Or if you want it to, you know, splay out, you can always have that. It's very nice. It's a fairly close color match. It's actually almost perfect, so that's not an issue at all. The way that he's got it cut here is kind of cut as like a triangle, so it drapes down between his jetpack just fine. Does exactly what it needs to. Looks good, and it was super simple to apply. So this one was definitely a very nice pickup. Just, you know, give Boba Fett a little bit of an extra upgrade there. Works very well. Moving on to the Vader upgrade here. So, as you guys might remember, this is the upgrade for the cape and the tunic. This one was a little bit confusing at first, because there's actually no attached loop for the tunic. It's just cut out pieces. So it was a little bit hard to install, just because Vader's belt actually doesn't have any place where it separates, so you just have to slide the old tunic off, slide it down through the belt, and then slide this one back up and make sure everything fits the right way. Just to ensure that it stayed put, I did add a little dab of glue on the back of the tunic right there, just so it would stick up. And for the front pieces of the tunic, since there's no attachment, you can see it's sticking out a little bit right there. I just literally took an X-Acto knife and just kind of stuffed it up there. So do be careful when the arms are moving around a little bit. You might have that run down, but just stick it on up in there. And this is a lighter fabric, so it does drape a little bit better. And it's easier to kind of maneuver. The cloak, or should I say cape, is cut in a better way than the default Black Series cape was. I'm actually not afraid that this will be torn off. You literally just pop the head off, slide that over the peg, pop the head back on, and that's nice and easy. So this drapes a lot easier than the other one did. Gets out of the way. It's a nice, light, flowing fabric. So, drapes over the figure pretty easily. You can either have it closer to the front here, which will have a little bit of a stick up, so you can have it more like that, or you can tuck it over the shoulder some. Have his armor more pronounced. And this is for the Empire Strikes Back version. He also does have a New Hope version where it will go over the armor. And that's a nice little upgrade. Not bad. Not too hard to install. Like I said, the only difficult part was just trying to slide this up under the belt again. But wasn't too bad. And finishing up here, we have the helmet and spear for Mando. So as you can see, he's holding the spear fairly well. The helmet, you just heat the old helmet up with hair dryer, or you could use the boil and pop method, and you just pop the peg out of there. Mine actually came out of the neck, so do be careful, because I did actually add a stress mark to the peg that goes inside of the neck, just from trying to pry it out of the old helmet. So that is something to be a little concerned about. Just be careful. Luckily, I do have an extra Mandalorian, so in case this peg does end up breaking, I can always try to replace that. But definitely do be careful. This head looks fantastic. The color match is very close. It does look a little bit shinier, but honestly, not bad. The shape, much better. He does have the option now to have these little earpieces on each side of the helmet painted slightly different, but I didn't really care too much for that. I do have, sadly, I have a scuff right there on the cheek from sliding that on. I think I scratched it a little bit with my nail. So that's a little sad. Do definitely try to be careful with this helmet. But you don't really lose any articulation. Still looks up just fine. Can't really look down too much now. I wonder if that's just because of the cape or something else. Let's see. Yeah, can't really look down too much anymore, so that is also something to keep in mind. But there is that. Definitely looks a lot better. Looks more show accurate. So, these are customs. These are going to be a little bit fragile. As always, be careful with your toys, guys. But, yeah, once again, you know, I want to thank you guys for 30 subs. I hope you guys keep enjoying the content and stay with me for the long run, because we're just getting started here. So far, it's been fun. I hope you guys are having fun. I'll see you around next time.